I am the soul. I am the light divine. I am love. I am will. I am fixed design. I bring the Christ into my heart. I bring the Holy Spirit into my body. I now dawn the light body. Father, give me the strength to overcome, the vision to see, and the clarity to understand. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Shawn, good afternoon.
Evening here. It's evening.
Evening. Today has to be one of the most spectacular days in Eagle Nest. The last 4 or 5, it's been overcast and rain and hail, and today the sun came through. It was probably 68 to 70 degrees. Absolutely, well, not a few clouds in the sky, it's 50 miles off, but it was just been paradise over Eagle Nest. I attribute that to us being back on the radio on our own show.
It was pretty nice here, too. I walked the dogs before the show. I had the windows open, and it was about 80 Fahrenheit here today. So.
Wow, 80 degrees.
Yep.
In Middle River, Baltimore, Maryland.
Summer is coming.
Yeah? Did you say bummer or summer?
No, summer. Summer is coming. And that's not a bummer. It's good.
It's not. It's a good thing. Now, I understand
sure
that the humidity out there is, though, pretty high in summer. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And it'll get 100 degrees here, too. But
Well,
I'm sure for some of our listeners...
Keep cool, then I'm cool.
Oof. Yeah, it'll be nice and cool where you are.
Well, now, I understand. As long as you don't get 100 degrees and stay cool, then I'm cool.
Right.
That was an inside joke, people, but Shawn and I get it.
We don't want Clarky getting hot under the collar.
Oh, no. I had an interesting email this morning. I thought about putting it up on the website, but I decided against it.
Right.
It was an eventful morning, but, hey, it feels good to be back on our own radio show, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, we missed it last week, so it does kind of feel good. It's a different... Oh, by the way, we can announce something that I don't even know if you haven't checked your email, because I haven't talked to you in a few hours.
I never check my email. What can we announce?
We got another interview request, and
really?
it will be next Sunday, not this coming weekend, but the following one.
I'm sorry, you can't do Sunday,
in the evening.
You know
you
that
can't make it. You can't make it that day.
On Sunday, right? And eat the, what do you call it? I eat the wafer and drink the blood and all that.
Right.
So no, of course I can make it anywhere, anytime, any place. So tell us about this. Tell me about the interview.
Well, we'll make an announcement. It's okay. I can give you some details now. lightwavesradio.wordpress.com if someone wants to check out their site. But
Waves. Wow. Okay.
Light Waves Radio.
And let me guess, it's another female host, of course, right?
No, I think this one might be male.
We got a guy?
Toby is male, right? Probably listening right now. No, it's
we got a male
on Lightwaves Radio, and I think so. I believe so.
Awesome. You know, I mean, it's. I got to be honest with you. I love the feminine form. Okay, I don't mean it like all you, like you're thinking, Kando. It ain't like that. Okay, it would be nice to see, you know, a big, heavy presence in a male form stand up once in a while, right? I mean, wow, that would be really, really awesome. Okay. To have a guy do an interview for a change, okay? For a change. Yep. You know, let's see how he compares to all the women, right?
True.
Because, you know, all the great ones seem to be females. But yet we still have George Norrie, okay, on After Dark, who has about the biggest show there is on the planet, and, you know, he does hold the light for the male form. So I'm excited. I'm looking to do it. It's on a Sunday. Is it an afternoon or an evening?
Evening. I think it's the same time as this one, actually, but on a Sunday.
Okay, great. So I won't be in church. Okay, so we have nothing to worry about.
Yeah, right. You don't have to worry about that.
People, I'm being sarcastic, okay? But in case you didn't get it, no, I do church in my house every day. I don't go to any religious affiliations, okay? So, now, that's awesome. That's great. And it's a couple Sundays coming up?
Yeah, week and a half from now. And I should say tonight, just for the record, is May 15th, 2012, and this is Allfaaraa Live. And we're talking about walk-ins tonight mostly. I assume we can take up the whole show with that, probably several shows. So,
Right.
I mean, we want to keep answering questions, other questions, and getting them recorded and getting through answers for people, but I think this walk-in thing will answer some questions as well and bring out some good information. So
this is an important show, okay? Shawn and I have made some decisions to maybe do a few things a little differently, okay? Some of you have talked to us about it with some different ideas we have. And I really don't want to go into it in detail because after discussion I felt this was almost petty and got Alfie all riled up and down, and he didn't care, okay? But this is an important show, and we're going to be doing some stuff on walk-ins. We're going to have a walk-in post or thread on the website and on the forums, okay? And we want to talk to you that know you're a walk-in, think you're a walk-in, and we want all kinds of your walk-in questions, because I'm going to give you answers, some that you've heard because I've discussed a lot about it, and some that you haven't, okay? I've had, how do I put it? I want to say the word fear, but it's not really fear, okay? I'm getting tired of those that are taking information that I'm providing and using it in their websites, their blogs, their talk, without really knowing what they're talking about or being able to explain it, okay? But they're making it theirs and something they've either got from the website or gotten from our conversation or gotten from one of our radio shows, okay? And it really, really infuriates Alfie. I mean, big time, big time, big time, okay? Right? In his mind, they're stealing, okay? They're stealing what's ours, what was given to us, okay? And then I go back and forth, yeah, but it is for humanity. Well, it would be, yes, says Alfie, if they could explain it and teach it, but they can't. It came from one source. That source is us. Okay, Alfie, thanks for including yourself, but yes, it is us. So I'm getting a little hesitant, pardon me, in coming out with the highest and biggest truths. And there's a lot of things that I haven't shared yet because we almost want to get them in writing, get them in a book and get them copyrighted, okay? Because they were given to me in their hours for you and for humanity, for those that can understand, okay? So tonight when I was pondering about the show, I was saying, well, Ed, you want to give them else something new, something they don't know? And then you're going to see it in everybody's blog in a week because we're seeing all kinds of stuff on all kinds of websites, okay? And people are telling me, and I'm getting emails, and, you know, even for my little tenant over here, the new guy that moved in here Friday, and he's great. He's a walk-in. He's a 5. And he's one of the goofy ones, okay? And I told him yesterday, I said, you know, I talked about you, Will, on my show. Not only that, but I talked about the goofy ones, those that are so full of light that are almost imbalanced. And they're goofy. I mean, they're not connected. They're just out there. And you see them all the time walking around. You see it in their eyes, okay? And he goes, I know. Little old man, I'm one of the goofy ones. I said, yeah, exactly. You are, and you know, it's like I have done, I don't want this to sound bragging. Again, it's confidence, not arrogance. You people who know me know that. But there is no one on the planet that knows more about walk-ins than I do, okay? I've participated in the spiritual realms. I've participated in the ethereal or earthly realms, okay, on both sides. And I know a walk-in when I see one. I can feel him, okay? And this little incident with Will, okay? I should have told him to listen to the darn radio, okay? But when he came up, if you guys, those of you who listened to Rebecca's show last week, you know, when he came up and just amazingly rented this little cabin that we had, and he's standing there, and I felt him at first, okay? I was trying to do business and you know, getting ready for the radio show, and I felt the guy at first. And then he turned. He's this little old man. He's like 70 years old and gray hair, gray beard. Dude, he's got to be Alf Senior, though. Shawn, he wears these like Oakley mirrored glasses, the orange ones, right?
Huh.
I mean, I saw him in the supermarket today with these orange Oakleys on, the iridiums. I'm going, dude, you're like an old version of me or something. How dare you wear something so ridiculous, right? He was limping through the store. He's got these Oakleys on. I go, oh my God, who would do that? But anyways, I'm standing on the porch across from my new home where I moved across the street, across the, dirt road, and I feel him. I'm going, man, this dude's, he's talking about White Eagle and throwing out all these names and this and that. And I said, wait, stop. I don't want to hear what White Eagle says. Turn around, okay? And he does, and I saw the eyes, and he had these piercing blue eyes, and they're kind of moist. You've seen them on people. They kind of glow, okay? Looked at him, and I said, dude, you're a walk-in. You know what the old man said? I know. Right, just like that, a goofy voice. I know it. I'm going like, holy blank. I knew that was going to come. That's the way. Sorry. That's the way he's been trying to rent the RV trailer all day for all summer, and I keep missing her. Oh, God. Sorry about that, Shawn. We'll have to get her later. I told her I would be on the radio. Anyways.
I can't find it now, but I know one of the questions was about Will, and if, I guess he's not listening today, but he probably will eventually.
Tell him.
But
I forgot to tell him.
We're interested in a little more about that, too. Maybe he can tell us his experience at some point or something.
Right, well, we'll do that. I'll get him on, okay? But basically, I'm going to give you something that not a lot of you know because I haven't told you yet, okay? Right? And humanity doesn't know, okay? Just like humanity didn't know about who walks into what, okay? So let's start. Do you want to start with a little intro before we do some questions? Okay? And those of you in the chat room, I hope you're all there, and let's be serious. But we need phone calls. Phone calls trigger the answers, okay? Or come up with questions in the chat room. It usually sounds like a drunken ball in there with all the same guilty, and you know who you are. You know exactly who I'm talking to, right? I don't need to name your names off, right? Hopefully Lala. I mean, I love Lala, but if Lala's there, then the whole thing turns into a party, right? It does. She is the head party animal. And then Tequila falls in, Canva falls in, BB falls in. I won't get off with the rest of the nicknames. But I need you to write questions, and I need...
Nothing wrong with a good party.
Yeah, the party.
Now, we do have some excellent questions on the site.
Okay, excellent, good.
I've got a couple by email, plus you and I can go through just what we want to talk about as well. So I'm sure there's going to be plenty to deal with.
Let me start.
They're good questions, too, if you haven't seen the ones on the site.
No, I haven't. I haven't been to the website in days. I'm mad at it. I'm mad at the website. I'm mad at the people. I'm mad at the world for stealing my stuff. I'm just angry, okay? So, and I feel abandoned. So, I don't like feeling abandoned. I think it's real weird. But what I'm going to start doing, because I was accused today, somebody actually accused me today, can't remember who it was, I get so many accusations, about not picking up my Bible. And I said, what are you talking about? To this person, I picked up my Bibles before the very first Lisa video interview. So today I briefly picked up my Bible.
What kind of person would accuse you of something like that? That's just unbelievable.
Oh, but he sure was confused. I pointed it out to him.
It was a he now.
I have told you guys this and told you guys this and told you guys this. Okay, I even had discussions with Lisa. There are those that are teaching that, your body's being changed and this and that, and you're going to take it with you. Let me tell you what. Your 3D body ain't going nowhere except into the dust. Okay, into the dust. That's where it's going. The light body is the garment, is what you have been creating. Okay? And again, all the spiritual truth is in the Bible. It's not religion. Paul, the Archangel Gabriel, says, 1 Corinthians 15, flesh and blood will not inherit the kingdom of God, which is the 5D. The kingdom of heaven is down here. The kingdom of God is the 5D, Michael's kingdom above the firmament. Flesh and blood will not inherit the kingdom of God. He talks about real you, which is the seed or the soul, and says, and I'm paraphrasing, it is sown in corruption. What is the seed sown in? The body, the soil. It is raised in glory. It is sown in a natural body, that's your flesh body. It is raised in a spiritual body, as a spiritual body. Okay. back into Christ stuff, when he's talking to the 12 apostles, he tells them about the harvest and who is who. And he says, the reapers are angels, okay? They are those who came to collect and reap the fruit, okay? So I was reading the story about the woman at the well, okay? So anyways, okay, a couple key things. I already had them underlined because I've read them 100,000 times. But let me just read a couple things to you, okay? First, let's talk about the food. In the meantime, his disciples besought him, saying, Teacher, eat, okay? Teacher also means Rebbe or rabbi, okay, in Hebrew, okay? But they're saying, Rabbi, eat, teacher, eat. But Christ said unto them, I have food to eat that you know not of. Exactly. He is the king of the light pirates, okay? Christ is the king of the light pirates. He came and ate the fruit of Israel, okay? Which are the souls, the spiritual material, the glory, okay? He even talks about it. He says, in the kingdom of heaven, okay, I came eating and drinking. But in the kingdom of God, I will sit at the table as one doing the service, okay? But anyways, that wasn't the key part. The key part was this, and Shawn and I have talked about this, okay? Christ says, he that reaps, the reapers are angels again. He that reaps receives wages, gets paid, and gathers fruit unto life eternal. That both he that sows and he that reaps may rejoice together. And this is the saying that is true, one sows and another reaps. I sent you, talking to the 12, to reap that on which you bestowed no labor. Other men labored, and you are interested in their labor. So understand, he sent the apostles out, okay, to reap the glory, the spirit of Israel. Okay? They didn't bestow any labor. They didn't grow it. We grew it, the angels of Israel. Okay? He sent them out to collect it. Okay? And let's go back to this part. Okay? Both he that sows and he that reaps may rejoice together. Okay? Who sows? Who scatters? Who plants the Spirit? This time, God. And who reaps? The angels. Okay. So God sowed, we know that. Okay? And we know that the angels are the reapers, so the angels reaped. So if God planted it, and the angels reaped it, and it says, so sower and reaper may be glad together, so God and the angels may be glad together, where does that leave you, the flesh, Shawn?
In the dust.
Yes. There's nothing in it about you. It is the creature, the soil, the clothes that you wear. Okay? One reaps, another sows, so that sower and reaper will be glad together. The one that plants, which is the Creator, and the one that reaps, which is the angel. Now, this is back then. Things have changed since Michael. Well, let's talk a little bit about walk-ins. Okay? The walk-in is the Creator's. You know, you talk about the old what goes around comes around. It's got nothing to do with karma. As above, so below. But it seems like what's happened in the past, spiritually, happens again over and over and over and over. Okay? As we've talked about in some of our history, okay, lessons with Alf, when we first came here, okay, again, you could call us angels, you could call us spirits, but what we really were gods, okay? Lucifer was the God maker, okay? God in the beginning created gods, okay? Like that's what he did, lesser gods, okay? And a lesser god became a greater god by expansion, okay? Just as a young child becomes an adult, he grows, okay? Just as a river grows, an ocean grows, it gets bigger by having more of its own content, okay? So when we came here billions of years ago, okay, we learned, became adept at placing ourselves into form, okay? We came as a consciousness, okay, as an angel, a spirit, or more correctly, a god. Shawn, what is the definition of God as I've explained it to you? What makes a god a god?
That which is able to place its essence in form, especially
Exactly.
a human-type form, I guess. But
Exactly. Why is Christ God of all the Christians? Because he's in them. Why was YHVH God of Israel? Because he's in them. Why was Baal? Why was Ashtaroth? Why was Lucifer? Why was all of them? They are their God, and the Bible identifies them. Why? Because all the Bible says there's one God. No, it doesn't. It even talks about the three different gods to Israel. El Elyon, the Most High, El Shaddai, okay, which actually means God of the breast, okay, right? And YHVH, the God who will be, okay? Those are the three, okay? Many, many gods. But they all came from one God out of YHVH, okay, at that time. So we came here to increase our realms above by increasing our spirit. How do we make spirit larger? We grow it. And how do we grow it, Shawn? In what do we grow it?
in forms.
Exactly. Okay? And the form that gives the most gain is one that experiences. Okay? One that has experiences. Good, bad, all kinds. Okay? And we've worked on the form, you've worked on the form, for billions of years. Okay? For a long, long time. So as I've talked, we have some of the history, and I can't wait to get some of these transcriptions done so we can put this all together. Okay? We've worked on the form. So we came, and again, as everybody knows, at that time, we would call the level of spirit raw grain. Okay? And there's many different levels of spirit. There's grain, there's silver, there's gold. Okay? Right? Gold being the finest. Okay? As the Creator talks about, the angel of the Lord talks in Revelations. I suggest you buy gold from me, tried in the fire. Okay? That's the gold refined in Lucifer here on the planet. Okay? But he also talks when Jacob and the 12 are going to go to Egypt. And the statement he makes is, there's grain in Egypt. Yes, all the spirits at that time came from Lucifer and was in Egypt. There was no other place. Okay? But what we were given through Lucifer would be considered raw grain. The base element which the Creator provided, which basically is himself. Okay? And this was provided to us through Lucifer to grow and make bigger. We were all gods. So we would plant it wherever we could. But where we planted it to make the most growth was in our firstborn. Okay? And everybody, the way the Spirit manifested in those times was walking. Okay? The Bible talks about it as begetting. Begetting means beget, brought into flesh. And I've said this before, but if you go through the Bible, especially in the Old Testament, and you look at all the lines, you will see that Adam beget Seth, beget this one, beget down, beget Noah, beget Abraham, beget Isaac, beget Jacob, brought them into flesh. That actually was the name of the Spirit. It's not the name of the body. It's the name of the Spirit. Abraham beget Isaac. Okay? Yeah, there's no mom in there giving birth. It's the Father bringing the Spirit called Isaac into flesh. Okay? So this is how we did it. And it only worked in the firstborn male. Okay? And again, I mentioned on Rebecca's show, don't ask me why we chose the male. I've never asked. Okay? It's just that's the form they picked. Well, why did they pick the female? You know, I honestly couldn't tell you. Okay? I mean, there are reasons, and I kind of understand why until we got to the female form and yada, yada, yada. Okay? But I will ask that one of these days when I can get a minute in. You understand, they tell me what I need to know. I don't get to stand up there and ask questions to Michael or Lucifer. Okay? It just seems out of place. But we placed our essence into the firstborn. Okay? Now, basically, we walked into our firstborn. And the firstborn is, the Bible calls it the first sign of the Father's strength. Okay? Right? It is the closest genetically to what you are. And it's the easiest to walk into. Okay? It's the easiest to walk into. And in those days, walking in was a lot easier than it is now. You know, we're going to talk about the process. Okay? We're going to talk who walks in, why they walk in, and where it's led us to now, okay? But at that time, the firstborn is who we walked into. Now, we couldn't walk into a secondborn. We couldn't walk into a firstborn daughter. We could only walk into a firstborn son. So understand at that time, yes, all spirits were in male bodies, okay? Right? All spirits were in male bodies, okay? Now, again, girls, don't take it personal. You've outgrown that, and you are the form of choice, okay? So please don't get angry. I know it's a real sensitive area, right? What about us? What about us? Okay? This took billions of years, okay? And don't blame me, okay? Creator dictated who we would choose and why, okay? So to actually grow yourself again, you needed to find another wife, another mate, okay? And then you would grow another firstborn, right? Because you need a new wife to produce a new firstborn, okay? This is why, especially in the Old Testament times, they all had so many wives. It was not a sex thing, okay? It was a build your kingdom thing. And again, back to Lucifer, right? Isaiah 14. In the first person, there was King Nebuchadnezzar, okay? I will build my kingdom above the stars of God. Stars of God, stars are angels all throughout the Bible. Old Testament, New Testament. Stars are angels. So Lucifer is saying, I will build my kingdom above the angels of God. And these are Michael's angels at the time, not his. His are all down here, okay? What's left? But this is the point. Christian, he says, look, he fell, and he fell from grace because he wanted to be more than God. Dude, that's why we all came here. That was the program, okay? We're all gods. Okay? You were all gods. I'm going to tell you about it next, okay? So, incarnate in the firstborn, okay? Find another wife, have another firstborn. Doesn't really have to be a wife. I mean, just a female that's willing, okay? No offense there, girls, right? I mean, a female that's willing. Well, in caveman days, you didn't even have to be willing from, what I know. It's just the old club on the head and drag him to the cave, right? No offense. Don't get all uppity there, especially you, BB. I'm sure your little horns are up there. What do you mean, hit him over the head and drag him to the cave? Well, that's kind of how it worked, okay? Well, now, but see, what you don't understand is now your firstborn has a firstborn. Now, what is a firstborn's firstborn, Shawn? That's still you, right? That is your direct line, okay? But each firstborn then has a line, and you become the one spirit or God in every line of firstborn. You go down all the way through. Can you draw that out? Does that make sense in your head?
Gets a little wacky, but yeah.
No, it doesn't. Look, okay, I mean, I penciled it out one time about 5 years ago when I was in a real dark place. I actually drew it out, okay, line by line by line. I couldn't get the whole 144,000 lines of Israel, but I got 10,000 of them. It was all over a wall. You had to see this wall. But we won't talk about that now. But okay, you start with one, okay? Then you have a firstborn son, okay? And then he has a firstborn son, okay? That's one line. That keeps going, firstborn through firstborn. You go down through that entire line. We have all created this genetic line since the first time we incarnated. What am I saying? I'm saying, and if I see this on your website, in your stuff, I'm going to come get you. I'm going to come get you. I'm saying that every soul or spirit before Christ, okay, walks in. That is how you get into form. You all walk in. Every single one of you. If you're old soul, you walk in. You are not born in the womb. You can't be. Okay? Now let's make sense of it for your little ego. The first time any soul or spirit was born in the womb was with Christ. He was born in the womb of Mary. Okay? And all souls we know, since Christ resurrected, come from above and come from Michael. Jesus, Christ, whatever you want to call him. Christ Michael. Those souls are born in the womb. That is how they incarnate. But if you're not of that material, which you're not, then what, Shawn?
I got a question though.
Well, wait. Go ahead.
What prevents? What's the difference between being born in the womb? What prevents you from just walking in the womb? What's the difference?
You can't. Okay. Again, you didn't answer the question, so you answer the question with the question.
Go ahead. What's the question? But it's going to be.
We have to answer the question to then go on to the next one. Okay. The difference is the quality of the material. As I have said many times, you may be better than me, but I'm larger than you. Okay. The quality of the material determined the way. Plus the predecessor. Adam ate the fruit of Lucifer, which designated for all mankind following where the soul would be attached to, which was Lucifer. Okay? Christ, okay, with the spiritual material, arrived at the level necessary. What do they call it in the Bible? Oh, when the fullness of the time came, okay, the Spirit was born in the room. The presiding spirit, in this case Lucifer or Christ Michael, determines the way their souls or their fragments will be placed into form. You understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. Lucifer's all walked in. Christ, from the predecessor, will all be born in the womb just like he was born in the womb. Do you understand? Okay? It takes finer, more refined material to be born inside the womb. Okay, so why can't it just be walk into the womb? Okay? That's a great question, but you never could in the past. Why should it be able to now? Okay? It doesn't have the frequency or the vibration, okay? Remember, and I've said this from Lisa 1, okay? Old souls are much larger, more powerful. New souls are better and more refined. The new souls came from what was stolen from the old souls, okay? Carried above, and then now distributed, okay? So what you, and most of you, have worked for, as I have, okay, was taken. You weren't given a thank you. You were scattered, okay? And now it is handed out for the last 2,012 years, okay, as fragments of Michael. But the predecessor, the very first person, the Adam Kadmon, first person, determines, okay, how his spiritual material, her spiritual material, will be distributed. Adam chose for all humanity previous to Michael, to Christ, okay, the fruit of Lucifer. And they were all beget. The Bible confirms it. Look at any line. Beget, 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 beget. They weren't born, they were beget. But from Christ forward, they're all born in the womb. Okay? That is how they incarnate. Now, you want to ask your question or a modified version of your question or something like that? Please.
Well, I guess you answered what you could on the question. I mean, part of what brings it up is the story about Mary and I think it was John the Baptist's mother when they came together and her baby leapt in the womb, which kind of makes me believe that.
No. That was also born in the womb, wasn't it?
Right,
Well,
that's what I'm saying. That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, was also born in the womb. Exactly. Right? Exactly.
So, I mean, okay, well, but I mean, that's like immediately, what, after Christ? I mean, Christ wasn't even born yet.
No, before Christ. Before Christ.
Okay. Is that something you want to get into right now? Because, I don't know.
I can't without giving a bunch of Bible verses, okay?
Okay.
You'd have to go into Malachi and talk about the angel, that makes straight paths for the Lord, okay? He doesn't make them for Christ, he makes them for YHVH. A lot of people think that, the angel came to make my path straight for Jesus and everything. No. It came for YHVH, okay? So...
But I thought Christ was YHVH in form.
Excuse me?
I thought Christ was YHVH in form.
Yes. Okay, it's not something I can answer right now without getting into a bunch of Bible verses. Plus, I'm taking a different direction, and it's off topic. So we can save it, and I'll answer on the website or something, okay? But yes, John the Baptist was born in the womb, okay? Or so it seems, okay? Right? But he's not the Adam Kadmon. Christ was the first, okay?
Okay.
Okay, So understanding that if you are of the old material, where you're, just as Israel was, just as everything was pre-Christ, okay, means you're on 11, 22, or 33, and even a walk-in, you are of the newest material, or the oldest material, I'm sorry, okay? And you've always walked in, okay? You walked in at birth, okay? I've always walked in, okay? Let's talk briefly about this lifetime. Okay, my earliest memories come upon incarnation.
2 seconds before you get into that. There's one question in the chat I just want to throw at you that applies.
Who's it from?
Lee and Fee asked, does this whole firstborn thing still apply? Or did it kind of go out the window 2,000 years ago? Or still apply to some people?
No, okay. How do I answer it so it'll make sense? Okay. The firstborn applies if you're in a male body. Okay. Do you understand what I'm saying? There are a lot of those that are predominantly male incarnate, male incarnate, male incarnate. Okay, even though we go random male, female, male, female, male, female. Okay. No, what happens now is actually many will come in as adopted. I came in as adopted. Okay, if you're out for any length of time, there will be gaps in your genetic line to where you can incarnate because there's nothing created, okay? Mm-hmm. So it almost where you'll come in and adopt into your generic line. But no, the firstborn doesn't matter anymore because, remember, when all was taken, all of the 144,000 spirits were taken from Israel, okay, the souls in that remained, the material, which is in Lucifer, again, you had still achieved the greatest measure of glory or spirit, okay, than anywhere ever, okay? It equaled what was taken. And again, the feminine form became and had the ability as of Mary. So really right now, with certain ones, it doesn't make any difference. In my case, yes, it has to be a firstborn, okay? In my case, it has to be a firstborn. Those that are really old, that were gods at that time, if you have memories back that far, yeah, it's got to be a firstborn. Everybody else, no, it does not make any difference, okay? It does not make any difference. Okay, but now again, we haven't gotten to the point yet. You guys are getting ahead of the game. Where I've talked about those of the new material can walk in also, okay? Not just the old ones, but what I'm saying is the way you incarnate, if you're old soul, okay, you incarnate through walking in. You are not born in the womb. You can't do it. The material that you have won't allow you to, and you don't come from Michael.
And that leads to another question, the way you say born in the womb as if that's a better way to be born. So is there an advantage to that or something? Is it...
Well, for young souls, that's the only way they can be born. Even though the spiritual material is higher, it's more refined. Do you understand what I'm saying?
But you just said they can also walk in.
No. They can't walk into the womb. But they can walk in and walk out. You know, kind of like what happened to you. Does that make more sense? They can walk in and walk out, which is what I'm going to talk about. No, they cannot walk into the womb, but they can walk out of a body and have a higher version of themselves walk in.
Oh, I gotcha. Right.
Okay, that's what I meant. Thank you for clarifying that. Right. Because, they cannot walk into the womb. Okay? But it doesn't happen that much until now. You're making me get ahead of myself, which I don't want to do. Okay? I want to set the groundwork. Okay? Okay. So, old souls have always walked in. And it's an easier process to a firstborn. I know what happened with my son. I don't know if I want to share that story. Maybe I'll put it in the book. But it's an amazing story. Amazing. Okay? I was kind of, how do I put it, hornswoggled by, my ex over the birth of my son. Okay? And I shared a little bit with you and Lisa. You remember where Lucifer was involved and my son basically was going to die at birth. I'll have to share that story and maybe we'll put it in a book. But there was more to it that I left out, okay? The fact was that my ex-wife didn't know how I provide the soul, the life to another form, okay? And how I reincarnate, okay? understand this. I'm surprised nobody's got it yet, but thanks for not asking because I don't want to go in that direction. Okay? One went over your heads that you missed. Even Shawn missed it. The Make Sense King. You're missing something big. I was waiting for somebody to drop on me that I didn't want to have to explain. But since we haven't done that, let's continue. Okay. So, you all walk in. That is how you incarnate. You incarnate by walking in. Talk about my experience. I was 2 years old. What had happened, I was adopted. My parents were, this was in 1953. My father was in World War II. He was on an aircraft carrier. And, by the way, there was a 50-year generation gap between my parents and myself. I guess they couldn't have children, or they didn't try to have children before the war. They didn't know my dad would come back. And he was in the Navy. He was in the Saratoga, Battle of the Coral Sea, and some real heavy battles, okay? But he did come back. They tried to have children and found out they couldn't, okay? So they tried to adopt, and this was in the late 40s and early 50s. And he stayed with the Navy, and they were in Corpus Christi, Texas. They were in Baltimore, Maryland. They were all over the place in all the naval bases. He was in Guam for a while. Well, when they came to the United States and tried to adopt, it was no, because they were Jewish. And, back in the early 50s, late 40s, there was a lot of prejudice if you weren't a good Catholic, okay? You were evil even if you were a Protestant, okay? But they were unable to adopt. So they were living in Baltimore, Maryland, right? You know where that is, don't you, Shawn?
I do. I've been there once or twice.
Right. And something to do with the Navy there, okay? And they had seen a lady in Virginia. I guess it's pretty close to the top of Virginia there. Is that correct?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not, I'm trying to picture.
Yeah, we're right above Virginia.
Okay. Well, yeah, okay. So, anyways, they had seen a lady at an adoption agency in Virginia. And it was no, because they were Jewish. They were flat out told that. No, you're Jewish. These kids need to go to good Christian homes, right? Or good Catholic homes. So I guess, the story I've got from my mom, this part of it, okay, about a year went by, and they got, while living in Baltimore, they got a call from the lady at the adoption agency. And she said, we have a young child, okay? We don't know if it's boy or girl, okay? In those days, they didn't do the ultrasound and all that. But it's going to be born, and the mother is a young female underage. My real mom was like 15 and a half. And in those days, we didn't have an abortion, but you certainly didn't keep it. The church would crucify you, right? A 15-year-old girl having a baby out of wedlock, okay? So they asked my parents, okay, those who would adopt me, if they wanted a baby. And of course they did. So it was a backdoor deal out of the agency, okay? And I was born in the hospital in Fredericksburg, Virginia, okay? And this was in 1953. About approximately 2 years later, okay, my dad and mom decided to move to Los Angeles, California, right? And so my dad had flown there, and my mom was driving the car there. Don't ask, that seems kind of backwards, doesn't it? But I guess those were the 50s. My mom was driving the car there with the baby, okay? She left Baltimore and got about midway. I don't remember where it was. I didn't have any conscious memory at this moment of me. But it was somewhere in the Midwest, maybe Kansas. And my first conscious moment was in a small room. It was a hospital room. And there was a baby on a white bed. And the room was very clinical and medical. And there were many doctors and nurses, or what I came to know as doctors and nurses when I could understand. And there was a lady in pink, all pink, with a pink skirt, a pink sweater, right, even a little pink hat, almost like one of them Jackie Kennedy outfits that you'd seen before when you see Jackie Kennedy on TV. And I noticed my consciousness, I was at the top of the room. I had what I would call an angel on my right side, another consciousness, and an angel on my left side, another consciousness. And I was at the top of the room looking down, looking straight down on this baby. And they kept saying, they were all worrying about the baby. And the lady in pink was crying and crying. And I remember hearing the voice, clear as day, is, now's the time, this is your body, okay? And I was saying, but the baby's dying, the baby's dying. No, the baby's not dying, okay? This is your body, okay? And I descended from the top of the room, okay? And it was, by the way, glowing light. I mean, it was incredible, silver and gold and white, okay? And all three of us descended, okay? And it's like at about mid-room, the two presences stopped, maybe about 5 feet over the baby. And there was just white light, like a sparkler, okay? Not gold, like some people say gold, not silver, but a white sparkler, okay? And then everything went silent. Everything went black, okay? From that moment, I had conscious awareness of being inside a form, okay? And everything was different. Feeling, wow, I could feel, I could touch, I could see. And the doctors, okay, went crazy. Everyone was fussing over me. And they were poking me and sticking me and holding me, and I was placed into my mother's arms, okay, who I knew would be my mother, okay? And here I'm, this little soul feeling, okay, all of this, okay? But I could feel, and I could hear, and I could see. And, but I was smaller, okay? Instead of being free and a part of everything, you might call this oneness, I was now in a form, okay? And the doctors were amazed. They were running back and forth, and the lady stopped crying, and she was sobbing for joy, okay? My next memory was I was placed into a car. It was a black car with a tan interior. They didn't have seatbelts in those days, or a car seat. I was just laying on the front seat. I remember looking at this little dashboard icon. Later, they told me it was from a Buick. It was like a 46 Buick that we had, right? Okay, it was this little icon, and I was amazed by this little icon. The thing kind of spun, and it was set up on the dashboard. And I remember in 1953, we pulled into the San Fernando Valley, and here's this brown house. Okay, my mom's driving up. We drove up the driveway, and out came this guy. It was my dad, and he got me, and they were overjoyed, okay? And they put me in a room, okay, which was a bedroom, and I was scared, okay? I was real scared because I'm feeling all these things that I never felt before, okay? And then he was there, and he was in the corner, as tall as the roof was. He was that tall. In those days, they had 8-foot ceilings, not 7. And he had big wings, and he was white, all white. And we talked back and forth, and he explained to me that he'd always be there, okay? A lot of bad things are going to happen to you in this life. Okay, I'm not sharing it all with you, okay? But I will in print. A lot of bad things are going to happen to you, but you have the power to overcome them, and we are always there with you. You're different. You're going to get hurt, but you'll always overcome. Never will you fail. And he was with me all the time, any moments of fear or danger. At 5 years old, okay, when I guess my ability to communicate had grown, we were sitting, my mother and I, in the living room, and she was upset or crying about something. And she was really upset. And it was her uncle, her brother had died. And I said to her, Mom, I mean, that's really sad, Uncle Blank died, but it's better than me dying, right? Like I almost did. She says, what are you talking about? They never told me the story, of course. And I said, I was there when I basically died or almost died. And she says, what are you talking about? I says, I remember.
How old was this again?
2 years old. Oh, at 5.
No, I mean when you... Oh, okay.
5. At 5 years old.
Her.
I'm telling her what happened. Of course, she's in shock and doesn't believe me. I said, Mom, I was there in the room. The baby died or almost died. The doctors were running around. You were sobbing. And, of course, my mom couldn't understand. What are you talking about? Impossible. I said, here, let me tell you word for word what happened, move for move. Okay? And where were you? I says, I am the spirit of the baby. I was in the top of the room, at the ceiling, like an angel, watching. You were wearing a pink skirt, a pink blouse, white blouse, a pink sweater. You had a little pink hat, kind of like what we see Jackie Kennedy wear on TV. This is, right? But that hadn't happened yet, but I later put it to that, because that's where I'd seen it in 63. Okay, we're talking like 1958. And she says, that's impossible. I said, okay, do you have the, yes, I have the same outfit. We went to the closet, and she had the outfit. It was like a rough wool pink skirt. And she said, but we must have told you. Okay, wait a minute. Did you ever tell me? My dad got home, and it was a nightmare. And they're, wait a minute, how could he must have overheard? I said, so that's what they attribute to, is I must have overheard them talking about it. So I said, okay, when was the last time you talked about it? And they said, I don't know, 2-3 years ago. I said, okay, so you're saying when I was 2 years old or 3 years old, I heard about it then, and now I'm making sense about it? No. Here's exactly what happened. I went through it. I even described what the doctor looked like. And I said, now, Mom, Dad, did you ever describe what the doctor looked like? No. Well, then how would I know what the doctor looked like? So they could never understand, okay? I think my mom was a 4, and I can't remember what my dad was, okay? I did his numbers at one time. He might have been a 6 or a 7, okay? But my mom was a 4, okay? She probably was a walk-in herself. I found that out right before she died in the physical, okay? But I told them, and they just couldn't understand it, okay? It didn't fathom. It didn't fit within their little minds, okay? It was impossible. So from that very moment, they thought I was nuts, okay? And when I started coming up with the other stuff, okay, telling them about them and their family and this and that, and visions of, they took me to the rabbi. I mean, I can't even tell you that story. They took me to the rabbi to see if I was, I had memories of being in Israel, okay, or in Canaan at that time. And they took me to the rabbi to see if it was possible. And, the rabbis would study books and says what he's referring to seems to, and they used the term, I think it was the first time I heard it, make sense, okay? So I was deemed quite a strange child, both by the Jewish community and by my parents, okay? So that was my story, okay? Hey, you want to take about a 60-second break for a minute? Let me walk and wash my hands and do something, and then I'll be right back, and we can play a commercial.
Actually, I've got a caller I could bring in.
Okay, want to bring him in right now?
I can talk a little bit about my experience. I know there were some more questions
there,
too.
let's hear your experience. Let's hear your experience. People want to hear that. Go.
I know Kelly had asked a little more, for me to go a little more in depth, because I know I've shared it before, but since we have the time.
Who's Kelly?
Who's Kelly, right?
Oh, that Kelly. Okay. Sure.
The
I'd like to hear
Kelly.
it too. I don't think I've ever heard the whole thing. So, yeah, why don't you do that? Go wash my hands, and I'll be right back.
All right. Because I believe it happened, well, the only time I can identify that it would have happened was fall of 2006, right at which actually marked the bottom of my last major illness. But, the question was asked today, have I been a seeker all my life, or did the search start at that time or after that time? And, I've never 100% nailed down that that's exactly when the walk-in happened, although, if I'm a walk-in and, it certainly seems like it, that seems like when it happened. All the evidence points to that for me. But I guess what I wanted to say is it looks like it was fall of 2006. I didn't start earnestly seeking until, well, it was before that, okay? I didn't, for me, until my life, it was about 2005. And the funny thing is, it was my mom that actually sent me a website that got me going again, because before that I kind of put spirituality aside, and I was more into business and investing and things like that in regular life. I had gotten married, and I was into other things. But she had sent me a website about It was a guy that had combined a bunch of different, I think he took like the prophecies from Fatima, and he took Nostradamus, and he took the Kabbalah, and he had mixed like 4 different, St. Malachi, I think, the prophecy of the popes, and had mixed them all up and made sort of a little philosophy and these long stories about these prophecies all mixed up. And it was the first time I had ever seen somebody take, what I thought were unrelated things and mix them up into one story. And he didn't end up being that accurate in the end with what he was thinking, but it opened my mind up to some new possibilities, I know. And then from him also is where I found Peter Novak, he's still amazing. His books on the division of consciousness are still worth reading. His third one one was called The Division of Consciousness, one was called The Lost Secret of Death. Those were both on the same binary soul thing. The only one other than Alf that I know of that talks about soul and ego being 2 sides of our awareness. Actual awarenesses, actual souls. And then his other book was called Original Christianity, and it was about the Gnostic Gospels and all the stuff that had been excluded from the Bible and what we were missing because we had excluded that as Christians had excluded that. So anyway, that was where I started, and that was when I actually decided I needed to find out for myself with my own eyes what was going on in the world. And that was actually a year or so before what I'm identifying as the walk-in. Now, could a walk-in have happened sooner? Maybe. But I also got into some issues with anxiety and so forth and started having health problems. And I'm not sure whether the seeking just started to get beyond what I could handle at the time. And so that brought on the anxiety, or maybe I was being prepared for the walk-in or whatever because, I just wasn't going to be able to handle it because I know I had a lot of fear at that time. I started reading about out-of-body experiences as part of my seeking, and that in itself, I started to have some little experiences, little precursors of stuff, the vibrations and so forth. And it scared me. It scared me because I thought I was going to lose control. I thought, I read these books that said once you start going out of body, like then it happens every night, or you can't stop it from happening. And, being a little Christian person that was breaking out into some new speaking like that, it scared me. And, that's when I started to get physically ill. And eventually, I guess I was physically in bad shape for probably a month or two when it peaked. And I remember, too, back then I struggled so much with my health that some of the seeking was in order to escape the health problems and my body. I know when I started reading about the out-of-body stuff, I wanted to sort of confirm that spirituality was for real. I thought if I could have an out-of-body experience, then I could prove it to myself. But I also felt like if I could just get out of this body that I was stuck with, because I struggled for so long. I had, 6 months at the end of college where it was just horrible health issues. Went away completely eventually. And then I had the same thing come back several years later, and it was horrible. I actually, for such a happy young person, the health problems were so bad and so intense at times that I actually realized why some people commit suicide. And I have never been that kind of person. When I'm healthy, I can't even imagine that kind of thing. But that's how bad it was. It was so bad being in this body that I actually realized that if it ever peaked and stayed peaked, if it didn't come back down, because it would actually come in waves, the neurological pain and issues that I had. I could just you could list 30 different symptoms that I had. I'm not even going to list them, but just trust me. I've done it for other people. I'll tell you someday. But I knew what it was like to contemplate suicide. That's how bad it was. All 3 times I was sick, except the third time. The second time and the third time, but mostly the third time, I knew I had gotten out of it before. I had been sick, it had been horrible, and I had found my way out of it. And by the time that happens a third or fourth time to you, you know you can get yourself out of it. And even if you don't, fine, you're going to die, whatever. You know it's not permanent. But you go into it with more awareness. I know the third time I was able to sit back and observe what was going on a lot more, or fourth time, whatever it really was. No matter how sick I was, I could sit there and I knew I just had to endure it, and someday it would be over and I would figure it out. And anyway, it was in the peak of that illness, actually 2 weeks before what I call the peak, or the bottom of it, when it was the worst. The problems I was having, which it was kind of anxiety and digestive issues. It was classical medical anxiety syndrome. And I had asked the doctor, you say it's anxiety syndrome, but you're not diagnosing anything. I mean, I didn't have this problem a few months ago. So what changed? I kept asking the doctors. I don't understand. Like, how can we fix this? Is it something I'm eating, or what went wrong? I don't understand what's different now from 6 months ago. And they didn't know either. And that's what really annoyed me. And so, anyway, and I kept asking, is this just in my head, or why does it come with digestive issues if this is just a mental thing or just a neurological thing, or why is it so physical as well? Why is it digestive as well? Anyway, no answers. I ended up having to get physical answers through nutritional work and so forth. But my point is, I was laying there one night, and nothing like this had ever happened before. Okay, I'm laying there at night, and this is 2 weeks before what I think was the actual walk-in. And my nervous system felt like it was just going to shut down on me. I felt it was about 1 in the morning or something like that. And I felt like the life was just being sucked out of me from the head down to my tailbone. Or at least that's where it was heading, okay, down my spine. And it was a pain. I got a pain in the back of my neck, and I felt like my body was going to shut down, like my spine was just going to shut down. And I jumped up out of bed, and I woke my wife up, and I said, I think I got to go to the emergency room. And I told...
That's for you.
Are you talking to me? We got Alf in the background. So anyway, I get up and I walk around, and I'm kind of fine. Once I stand back up, it seems like I'm kind of fine. I'm scared. I don't know what the heck just almost happened to me, but I'm walking around and it seems fine. And my wife says, well, you seem fine to me. And she kind of talked me back into bed, and I laid down, but I couldn't go to sleep at that point. My eyes were wide open, and I thought, what the heck just happened? I was sort of afraid to go to sleep.
You better be afraid. Very afraid.
So anyway, I spent the next... Things were wacky for a couple of weeks. That next morning, I had a lot of fear and anxiety. And I could not sleep for the next 2 weeks. I got maybe 2 hours a night on average, something like that. I just could not calm myself down, calm my nervous system down. I couldn't sleep. Well, by the end of 2 weeks, it was so bad that I just decided one night, well, actually, first, I didn't decide until after the experience happened. I'm laying in bed, and this time I'm alone, and my wife's gone, and again, it's like midnight or something, and somehow I end up falling asleep. And I don't remember falling asleep, and the next thing I remember is, and I have no idea how long I was out, and it was the only time this happened, before or since. Okay, none of the night, that whole 2 weeks trying to sleep, I didn't have any big problems or anything, no bad, well, who knows, I might have had some bad dreams or something, but I slept a couple hours, but I didn't have any major issues, no weird experiences. This time I fell asleep, and I woke up. I felt my awareness gather. It was like within a half second, like I came together, and I just went, and it was, I came awake out of the worst terror. Now I don't want to put fear in anybody, because if this was the walk-in, a lot of walk-ins are not like this that I know of. But I woke up out of this horrible feeling, but there was nothing to remember about it. There was no bad dream. There was no nightmare. There was no bad experience. Now maybe it was blocked.
May I ask you some questions when you're ready?
Sure. But I woke up out of this, and it bothered me because it was like I had a nightmare, but I couldn't remember a nightmare. And I actually felt fine. I sat there, and once I calmed down from waking up out of that, and I just remembered gasping, taking that big breath, and coming out of this fear, like there was nothing there, but I had this fear anyway. And then that's when I kind of calmly took the phone. I called my wife, and I said, "You need to come home, and you need to take me to the emergency room this time," because I was too scared to even try to sleep at that point. Because at that point, I thought, well, obviously the sleep, I fell asleep and had a nightmare. And so we went to the emergency room. They gave me something to sleep. I slept like a baby after that, and never had another problem with sleeping again. Now, I was still sick for a few months, and it took several months to get back to feeling good again. And
but did you started healing and everything kind of got better?
Well, yeah, that was the bottom of the whole thing. I mean,
yeah, that
was it. Okay, I was done. After that, now, I'm just saying, I came back from the hospital. I slept like in the hospital. I fell asleep for an hour and woke back up, and there was no issues at all. It was awesome, right? Fell asleep, woke back up. My wife drove me home. I slept for like 10 more hours. And from then on, now, I still struggled for a while. I might get 5 hours sleep or something for a few weeks because my body was still messed up. But that moment marked the bottom of the illness. I was calm after that. I started sleeping better. I got on a nutritional program, and all started seeing a nutritionist to kind of heal my body up and start, fixing some of what may have caused that problem. But from then on, I mean, it was all just uphill in the sense of getting better and better and better and better and better. And now, now the funny thing is, as sick as I've been all these times, I don't get colds. I don't get the flu. My wife is so frustrated with me because she gets colds and things all the time. Now, she doesn't take care of herself as well as I do, but she will lay right there in bed with 103 fever, and I lay right down next to her and go to sleep, and I never get it, never. I think I've had one cold in the last 5 or 6 years, so it's funny.
Can I interject a real funny story that just brought up? It'll be a 30-second story.
Yeah,
right?
And then I just want to calm people a little bit about the good, about the fact that you're still yourself and all that, and how I think those dynamics work. But go ahead.
Now I want to come back and ask you some questions, okay? Because I never have, okay? But this was one. It's one of the things, yes. But I almost never got sick. In fact, the time I got sick about a week and a half ago was the first time in a long time. And this is kind of an Alfie story. You got to have the demon to go with the light, okay? So anyways, I never got sick, and doctors never worked, and I always tell doctors what's wrong with me, and they wouldn't listen, and so I stopped going to doctors, and the body always healed itself. Well, it was one time in Hollywood, and I was a young, good-looking guy, wild thing, somebody asked about that, long blonde hair, back in the good old days of Alf, and I met this really, really hot girl, okay? And we went out to the club, and we came home to my house and had a few drinks, and it got to be the time. And she said, "Oh, I can't. I think I have some kind of disease." I said, "Well, what kind of disease? I mean, you got the flu? What do you got?" She says, "No, I think I have some kind of disease down there." This is the comic relief that Alfie gives. I said, "Oh, don't worry about it. I never get nothing. Let's just do it." So she says, "Okay," and we did, and I never got anything. So I never knew whether she was lying or not, but I didn't care. Even the clap did not faze Alfie. Okay.
Dude, that is your comic relief?
Yeah, dude. You know, I don't know if she was just like, didn't like me as much as I liked her, but I never got anything.
But you called the bluff. You called her bluff anyway.
Yeah, well, personally, I think she was for real because I didn't think she was bluffing, but I never got anything. I never did. So even an STD I was immune to, right?
Jeez, dude.
And by the way, one of our dear listeners didn't know what an STD was. I won't mention her name. It says, what's an STD? Is that some kind of American jarble? I said, no, it's a sexually transmitted disease. I guess that's an American term. They don't call them that in jolly old England. Okay, now let's go to you, Shawn.
An ETD, an evil technical difficulty.
I almost have an ETD than an STD. Let me ask you a couple questions. Maybe I can bring something out.
Okay, and I want to kind of get through me kind of quickly because we have a couple calls that I'd like to let on.
Yeah, we want to get callers. I need your questions. You people in the chat room. If you don't want to call, write them down. Take your shots of tequila and write them down.
We have excellent written questions, but we may have to put them off till next week. We'll see here. Or we could do a show later this week, too. But
thing that happens with all walk-ins, okay, almost everyone. And we had this guy on Daniel and Nikki. Remember Daniel and Nikki a couple weeks ago? And one thing that happens is after they get in, everything changes. What was important to the old soul is not important anymore. Everything
I need
changes,
to explain
you become
some of that
more godly. Okay? Did a time come, Shawn, did you change? Did you change your habits, your ways? Did something change for you? Okay?
Well, yeah, and I did, but see, I had already started the whole seeking thing. So what happened was I put that off while I was sick because it actually, I didn't want to read, I didn't want to expand my horizons.
So you understand that your walking was triggered through illness, okay? And
and there was anxiety and stuff, and I got to, when I was sick, I kind of put all that on hold for a few months until I felt strong again,
Understand that the pain triggers the anxiety and pain trigger the illness, okay?
Right.
That is how it works. I mean, it starts with pain, okay? And we get pain from turning away from God, okay? And the pain brings on the anxiety and the pain bring on the illness, okay, to force the walk out. Okay. So it's a classic syndrome. But how did your life change?
Well, I at first didn't notice a lot, okay? And for me, I was focused on the physical aspect, okay, because I had these problems before, so I assumed it was all just a physical illness again. Who knows, Maybe it was, But I was focused on that. I was focused on eating a certain way, taking certain supplements, getting as much rest as I could, all that kind of stuff. And I saw myself get better and better and better gradually. I just had to endure until it was done, and it took a few months. And I just kept going from there. But
when did you start from the spiritual nut that you became? I met you 2 years ago.
Here's what happened. Here's what happened.
When was your walk-in exactly, you think? About how many years ago?
I think it was fall of 2006.
Okay, that would put you about right. Okay, and I met you a couple years ago, and you were nuts. I mean, you craved spiritual information, read every book. I mean, you probably still do.
Well, it kind of accelerated as I went, is the thing. And then when I discovered, some of the online forums, things like that, it accelerated even more. But see, I guess there's two things that mark it for me. One, my wife and her best friend saw changes in me that they were talking about before I even met you, or maybe it was before I realized this whole walk-in thing.
Right.
Now, I don't know if they saw the changes, because right after I met you, I went through some changes too, because you said a couple things that completely turned me around, and that was a big change for me. And I know I started acting different then, and my awareness changed then, and I saw the world differently then, and all that. So that was huge. That was almost bigger and more dramatic for me than any walk-in, unless that's, unless that was another walk-in or something.
Yeah,
which I don't think it was.
It is a change of consciousness, a change in perspective that the higher version of you brings, okay? What was important, to most of walk-ins, okay, and I've done a lot of them, we'll talk about those in future shows, but the most important, it's a transformation to where what was important now doesn't even matter, okay? So it's a transformation in consciousness, and there had to be that point where you realized or let go of the old you.
Right.
And what was important to you.
Well, yeah, and things like that were changing. But for me, it was not so much because it took time, so it just seemed like a gradual change to me. What did strike me, and this was before I met you, maybe 6 months or a year before I met you or something like that, was that, you know, IFF, okay, online, I was talking to her and some other people along those lines, people that had been meditating for 30 years, had all these experiences to talk about unity consciousness and everything else, and I was talking to them one-on-one, and not even one-on-one, they were like thanking me for the beautiful ways I was expressing things, and I had no such experience. You know, I couldn't, at the time I had nothing to offer experience-wise that I knew of, and yet I could talk on their level, and that's where, even back then, it sort of caught me off guard because I thought, this can't just come from book reading.
Where
like,
did this...
it didn't even make sense to me. Like, I would come out of a conversation with them and go, how can that even be? Like, I don't understand how it is that these people that have been into this for decades, that have meditated, that have had experiences, that have read everything under the sun and all, and they're thanking me for my beautiful way of explaining what they've been through, and I haven't even been through it. And I mean, it didn't. That's where it almost, like, especially when I looked back after you talked about the walk-in thing, I looked back on that and thought, okay, well, that starts to make a little more sense now, because I must have, you know, acquired an awareness that I didn't even realize was there. You know, you don't.
I think I just dropped it on you one day, didn't I? Oh, by the way, Shawn, you know you're walking, right?
Well,
Isn't that kind of like how it was?
Well, I was curious. I think David was talking about walk-ins, and some of the other people were talking about their walk-ins, and so I got real curious and started asking questions, and that's when you said, "Dude, you can't become a walk-in because you already are." And I was like, I didn't even want to become a walk-in. I just wanted to know about it. But
right.
Anyway.
Right. And I think it was you and Carl, and then Carl's story, which, I mean, I got to love it, but it's kind of the goofiest I've ever heard, right?
Well,
you know a little bit about that one.
I'm hoping we can get Carl's story from him again, and maybe a couple of the others. I'm trying to contact
some good ones.
Because,
I mean, there are. I'd like to get Daniel's story. Daniel's was real interesting.
Yeah.
Also,
Daniel,
I'd like to get a couple other people that we've met, right? You know, we've talked about them earlier. We won't mention their names yet. But there's a lot of you that are walk-ins and know it. I mean, where's the lady from Australia, the one that walked out 3 times, right? I forget who that is.
Right.
Is that Annie? Somebody who's a 3-time walk-in, okay? And the one on the radio is a 3-time walk-in, okay?
Right.
Any more you want to share about yours before we take, because we can share you again before, but let's not miss these calls.
No, yeah, I'd like to let them in. There's 2 waiting. No, I think I'm done with that. I guess the only other thing I just wanted to share real quick was, you know, back then I remember Carl and I used to talk about it a lot, but like when I thought he was a walk-in and I didn't know that I probably was, I remember asking him, like, well, you know, I started referring to him like his previous self like it was somebody else, and he's like, dude, you know, it's still me. You know, I don't feel like anything. And I just want to put that out there for anyone who doesn't grasp that, you know, I guess there's a few people out there that feel like their personality has changed, or they go through something radical where they feel an entity hanging around and then it merges with them, and you know, sometimes there's 2 personalities at the same time inside, or something weird like that. But that doesn't jive with what I've experienced or what the people I've talked to have experienced usually. What seems to happen is, and this is why the whole walk-in thing goes unnoticed completely by most people, is that the memories are the same. You're still, you know, it's like taking an appliance and plugging it into a different power outlet, okay? The awareness may have changed. There may be a new soul that's come in, but the soul is just the awareness. It's not the memories. And so,
no, it's not.
And
exactly.
So you still, the memories are contained in the ego, and they're contained in this lifetime. You know, well, the ego contains multiple lifetimes, but this body and this lifetime, for those of us who only have memories from one lifetime, you're isolated. That awareness from the soul is isolated to this one set of memories.
Exactly.
And so when, even if a new soul comes in, it's immediately, it's like an actor putting a mask on and immediately believing that it's that mask. So the new soul comes in and it believes that it is you and has been you ever since you were born. So,
but technically it is. It's no different. See, again,
right. It's assuming
that's
that
what
role.
I teach. It is you. It's a higher version, so it acquires all your memories. Yet they are kind of veiled for a while. Okay, in a lot of cases, and I've counseled walk-ins all over the world. Okay, and I've sat in the physical with two. Okay, and we don't have time to talk about them now, but I've sat with one victim who was lupus. I watched her basically almost die in my hands, and it was terminal, and another one who had cancer. Breast cancer, both females, and the stories are amazing, and I will share them.
We need to get into those maybe next time or something.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Well, real quick,
amazing.
This is an important point, and then I want to take these calls, if you don't mind. It's that this walk-in thing is not really any different from the memory and the self standpoint than being born, because you're still talking about an entity, which you are, that existed prior to the body. So it doesn't matter whether you were prior to, 2006 or whether you were prior to 1970 when I was born. Either way, what you've got is an entity coming in believing that it's Shawn. Okay? And so it's the same thing. I mean, if you've been around for millions of years and you believe that you've only been living in this one life, in this one body, that's what the ego and the mind do to you. That's which is, I'm not saying do to you like it's a bad thing, but that's how we play these roles in these bodies one lifetime at a time. It's no different with a walk-in. It walks in and it assumes the role immediately. I mean, it believes it's you, and it has your memories, and memories are what give you your identity. So
I got my computer on, and I just got Skyped, and of course I would ignore it. It's coax, and I hate coax. But this person was somebody you and I spent some time talking to.
Yeah,
and as a matter of fact, this person has a walk-in experience that's almost greater than anyone I've ever heard, and I've heard thousands and thousands. Okay, I won't mention the name of Sonia. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Are they listening to the show now, or they're just saying hi for the heck of it?
Just told them that you were speaking, and I Skyped them back. And anyways, this person said they had a dream or vision Saturday, Sunday, and you and several other people were in it with some very specific messages. I guess the you means me, okay? This is the person we were talking about today that had a triple walk-in and some amazing stuff, right? And maybe we can get her to talk about it, okay?
Yeah.
This one blows away almost any other walk-in I have ever seen or heard about, okay? And I've seen lots of them. But, she just sent us a message saying, I was in a dream. It almost sounds like the guy with the locked door, but I know this person is for real. Okay. Let's get on with the question. So we have an appointment to talk to her tomorrow sometime, you and I. Okay?
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, and I mean, she was interesting enough, I swear. I told her we should interview her. I mean, it'd be nice to have her, if she wants to go public. In fact, we've met several people like that it'd be nice
but her walk-in experience dwarfs them all. I mean, it really does. I mean, no, I have some great ones to tell you, where people with terminal cancer died on the couch with me sitting there at 3 in the morning and came back, right? Yeah. Terminal lupus, same thing. But this one is pretty out there 3 different times. I mean, we're talking about... We're talking about an angel at every one, and the angel grew with this person. At one time, at the younger age, the angel was young. At the teenage age, the angel was older. And there was an elder or archangel in the background. I don't know if it was every time, but at least one time, right? Mm-hmm. Do you remember, Shawn?
Oh, yeah, her, yeah, yep.
The archangel was there. I said, whoa, okay. Let's get these questions. People have been holding. Let's go for it.
Sure. I was just going to say that in mine, that whole coming out and gasping like that made me think, who knows, maybe my body died for...
Sono's was the same way. You understand that? When the gold light hit her, I mean, it was up the top of the room, just went boom! Straight through it.
She was awake for it.
Yeah.
It's
She
like
saw
Carl,
it. And
Carl was awake for it and felt like a presence come over him.
Yeah, well, Sano's was like a giant sparkler at the top of the room, just went straight through her, came out, and took off, right? If we can get Sano, I'd love her to share it, if she would, if we can find her. Let's get these questions we're holding.
Okay,
They're getting
yeah. Just real quick, I think she and David also had where they were left for 2 or 3 days afterward with, maybe even longer for David, with like they could see things, like their chakras were left open or something for a few days.
No. Your ego is you're unveiled. The ego has not yet taken possession back of the body. You understand?
Okay.
See, and this is something I wanted to talk about, how it works, the system. I've been in so many of them. The ego has to allow it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay. Your ego has to participate. It has to. Remember, nothing can come into you that doesn't have permission. Okay?
Right.
Demon controls your body. It is the god of you. So, a lot of times, in the ones that participated in the celestial realm from that aspect, dude, we have to sit there and talk to the ego for hours sometimes, as well as the females. Stubborn ego, like a Clarkie, I ain't giving it up. Because, again, they don't believe that it's not going to be them. Just as you're worried you're going to lose yourself, the ego gets scared it's going to lose itself. Okay?
But I tell you what's encouraging about that is that, and something I've kind of realized since talking about stuff like that, is that, you call this place the kingdom of heaven, and those of us who live here and have to put up with the darkness here have a hard time calling this the kingdom of heaven. But when you hear what someone like that who can see...
Hey, Will! Keep going.
When you hear someone like David, or maybe it was Sano too, talk about what they saw in that state, which maybe they were unveiled. I mean, wow, they said everything glistened. It was like they were in total bliss and beauty. And
keep going. Come on.
And so, I mean, it sounded amazing. It was like, why can't we always live that way? And in fact, I think David, when it went away a few days later, he got angry. He was like, why do you even give me that experience? Because it was like walking around in heaven, right here on the planet.
Well, let me tell you what. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
He was angry. Why do you give me that experience and then take it away from me? I think he expressed.
No, exactly. This is my partner, Shawn. Say hi, Will.
Hey, Shawn, this is Will.
Hey, Will, how you doing?
Good, how are you? I heard too much about you. I don't want to know anymore.
Our show is on walk-ins, and we're going to continue it next week on walk-ins, okay?
Yeah, we need to take some calls, but we ought to get you on, either on a call or right there with Alf maybe next week or later this week or something.
That's on my radio show Tuesday night?
I'd love to, yeah.
Okay. You know you're walking, right? I mean, I told everybody.
Well, of course. I told my mama when I came out of her uterus, I said, God, I was heading for the stars long before the Sagittarius.
Slow down. I do. Okay?
I said to my mama, I said, when I shot out of your uterus, I was heading for the sun even before I knew what hit you.
Okay, that was Will. Okay, I'll go back. We'll talk to you. We'll put you on next week, and you can tell us all about it.
Okay.
He is the goofy one, believe me, but he knows it.
No, talk to him, find out what he wants to talk about. If he wants to, if he has
talk about his watch.
Did
you hear him? Dude, he walks and here's this 7-year-old guy, walks with a limp, white hair, the brightest blue eyes that you know what I'm saying? And he's so full of love and light. I mean, the guy just blew me away, right? Okay, let's get to questions. Next.
Yeah, and I haven't been able to screen them because we've been talking, but I've got someone on from area code 209 right now.
Put them on.
And I don't know if they want to talk or they just want to listen, but you are online, whoever is from area code 209.
Hello?
Hey, well, I think that might be me.
Hi.
Okay, it is you, and who are you?
Well, this is Sharon. Allfaaraa, this is Sharon.
Hey,
Sharon Miller?
Sharon Miller.
Hi, Sharon.
Hi, Alf.
Good to have you on. I'm sorry you had to hold so long. When I get talking and Shawn gets talking, we got to control that. What would you like to talk about, Sharon? I'd love to have you on. You're great.
Okay, well, really? I'm great. Well, thank you for that. I'm glad I got through to you before I poured that second glass of wine because I'm thinking I have poured my heart out to you in several emails. And the reason I haven't posted them on the website is because I didn't want to bore people, or not that I have anything that I don't want others to know, but I just wanted some feedback from you about this walk-in
Sharon,
thing.
let me interrupt you real quick.
Okay.
What email did you send them to?
I sent you an email regarding my daughter.
Where?
22 weeks ago.
Yeah, he has.
Where did you send it? Which email address?
Whichever one Shawn gave me.
Yeah, it's
I don't read those.
Yeah, he's
sorry.
That's nice to know, but you know what?
Send your emails. If it's important, send it to Shawn, because where my normal email, the typing program doesn't work, I can't answer back. So I type 10 letters, and it prints one. So I gave up on that email. So if you really want to get to me, and it's an important one, sorry, Shawn, send it to Shawn, and I will respond. I wasn't ignoring you. I just don't go to that site anymore, Allfaaraa at allfaaraa.com, because my email don't work. So forgive me. It had nothing to do with you, and it wasn't that I didn't want to answer you. Okay, Sharon, go for it.
So thank you for that. However, I poured my freaking heart out. I shared things that I had not shared. So getting back to the walk-in thing, because I don't know what that is. I'd never heard of it before.
Okay.
So what I sent you was, I was wanting feedback.
Do you want to talk about it now? Do you mind talking about it in front of everybody, or is that too much?
Not at all. Not at all.
Okay, Sharon. Let's see if we can help you. Go ahead.
Is it a concern, or is it...
Let her speak.
Is it a concern? Is a concern? Am I concerned that I'm a walk-in? Honest to God, I don't really freaking care.
That's not what you want to talk about.
Pardon?
I said that's not what you want to talk about. Tell us what you want to talk about. Go ahead.
Okay, I sent you something regarding, it was regarding my daughter, and I shared a lot, but I really didn't even give all of it because how do you share and go into that your child was exposed to a satanic cult, murdered babies and all that?
Okay, I'll tell you what, Karen. Okay, maybe this is something that we shouldn't share on the airwaves.
That's why
Shawn,
I emailed you privately.
Yes. Wait, Shawn, have you seen the email she's talking about?
I have not, no.
Sharon, will you email them to Shawn?
I will look, though.
Shawn gave me an email address, and that's what I sent it to.
Okay, you sent them, and I don't go there anymore because I can't answer them.
I thought I was forwarding the ones that came in, but I will go back and see if I missed one or something.
Okay, and then also, Allfaaraa, I sent you a couple of poems that I had written. Oh gosh,
I didn't
10,
see those
12
either.
Or so. Did you get those?
No, I don't get
But
stuff
let me
off.
explain. The reason I sent them, because this whole walk-in thing is foreign to me. But I thought, okay, well, if he hears what I had to say 12 years ago, he will be able to get a feel for, am I a walk-in? I don't know.
Sharon, aren't you the one that was born like in 46 or something like that?
No, dear. Hey, I'm hitting the big 7-0 next month.
Right. What year were you born in?
42.
Yeah, well, I said 46. I meant, yeah, you're the old one. I know who you are.
I'm the
yeah, we talked the Bible together. You like the Bible, right?
I like the Bible. I went through my so-called, biblical Christian experience. Yeah.
You know where you are, right. And what was your number again?
I'm a 3.
Right. Okay, you're definitely a walk-in, Sharon. Okay. Now, you're one of the ones I feel has walked in more than once.
Alf, excuse me, Alf. You have told me I've a walk-in before. And that's why I wanted to connect to find out, because I never heard of a walk-in before.
A lot of people haven't. There was one good book written on it in the mid-'80s, 83, 84, by Ruth Montgomery, and she had a lot of information on it, but she didn't have the whole truth, okay? In fact, Shawn and I, we have a plan, and he was searching what books are written on walk-ins, and there's not much. But so many of us are walk-ins right now. And what is happening with the new program, walk-ins are going to be the saviors of humanity, okay? it's almost God's gift that kind of fell in our laps, okay? And we're going to be talking about it a lot because so many people, there are more walk-ins that are attracted to our information than there are the real incarnated masters that have done their time, okay? And what's opening up now to the world, the way to, even to the masters, okay, is the way to save ourselves is through doing what we've been doing, but decreasing the time necessary to do it within. So the walk-in process needs to be understood, and I've done so many of them, okay?
Let her express her problem.
Yes, Allfaaraa, let me just say this. I totally resonate with what you say. Do I grasp all of it? Well, maybe not. But what you say absolutely resonates with me. But yet, do I think you're the end of all in? Do I think that, Allfaaraa's got it? No. But the part that you have...
Oh, what do you mean no? My God. Okay, go ahead. Continue.
And you're very significant. You are connecting dots and putting pieces of the puzzle in.
Thank you. That's what I do.
Here I am. What the hell is a frickin' walk-in?
Hey, Sharon, I'm glad you only had one glass of wine.
No, I'm getting ready to have number 3.
Oh, my. I hate to think what happened if you had a couple more. Oh, my gosh. Right.
Oh, I'll really, listen. I sent to you out of the depths of my being.
And I didn't even get it. I'm sorry, Sharon.
Listen, that's all I question. If this person can look at somebody or he can hear somebody and feel their vibes, why the hell doesn't he hear me?
Yeah, I didn't get that last part, sweetie. You got real emotional with us.
If you could look or hear
I heard the first part.
And you feel their vibration, what the fuck does that mean? What am I, chopped liver?
No, sweetie.
No,
I didn't.
I'm going to go back and see what happened to that email. I don't know why.
I love you guys.
Why we didn't see it? We didn't ignore you.
I mean, I guess there are personal things.
Sean,
let me speak, and I'll address it.
Please.
Sharon,
just let me speak, please. Let me speak. None of this takes away from what you have. I totally hear your truth. It doesn't, just because I've drank a little wine and I'm...
Oh, that's fine.
I
Okay,
hear
sweetheart.
your truth.
Okay. That's okay. But what I'm trying to say to you from my heart, and to all of you, do not write me to Allfaaraa.com. I don't go there anymore because I can't get the program to work. If it's personal and it's private and it's important, yes, I will answer it, okay? Send it to Shawn, okay? And his address is up on the website. You know, dsc at Allfaaraa.com. I guess that's it. Now y'all got it. But I did not see it, okay, as well as all the other people's questions I probably missed, okay? Thank you for, and see your hurt, but thank you for sticking with us.
And it's
Shawn will get those or resend them to Shawn, and I will answer them tomorrow.
Okay. Allfaaraa, even without your listen, I was aware that those things could happen. That does not take away from your peace and what you have. It is absolutely phenomenal. And I don't know how anybody that hasn't been into the Bible gets it, and I know they do because I see it and read it, but I totally relate with what you're saying.
I know you do, Sharon. You're one of my favorite angels, okay? And whenever there's that resonates with the Bible like I do, you know, you're on my good side, okay? Right? You're on my good side, sweetie. And I am sincerely from my heart, okay? If we could fix my email program, and I don't know how, but send it to Shawn. Shawn will
please don't respond and react out of me. It doesn't matter. I still hear your truth. Yes, I'm into my ego. I drank a couple of glasses of wine and.
Out of your ego. The wine takes the ego out of it, sweetheart. It takes it out of it. You're not into your ego at all. It's coming right from your heart, baby.
It is from my heart.
We can all feel this. I mean, it's a great sharing. I don't think there's anybody in the chat room right now that is not their emotion.
Again,
I think we're all feeling you. Sharon?
I don't want to make this, okay, I don't want to make this about me.
You know what? There's times when the only one we can count on is you and me and Shawn, okay? So it has to be about you. Okay. Okay? If not about you, then who?
Please read my poems.
I will read them tomorrow morning.
I wrote these like 12 years ago. And I was hoping that you could say, okay, Sharon, yeah, you're walking.
I already know you're walking, but I'll give you some more depth on it. Sometimes I don't as much as an individual personalization because I care about the group, so I try to stay away from personal stuff. But there are times when I guess I have to do the personal stuff, and this will be one of those times. Sharon, I will do it. We need to get to the next caller, sweetheart. Thank you so much.
I'll talk to you later.
Sharon, do you want to stay on for a second? Or listen offline?
Okay.
Just 2 seconds. Just realize that, because I've gone back and forth myself, like, I can't prove to myself that I'm 100% a walk-in. I don't know. I mean, I have some indicators. I had an experience. Alf says I am. I'd like to do something else. I'd like to get regressed or something, right? See if I can confirm it.
But
my point is this. It doesn't matter, right?
That's my point, dear. I don't care either.
But see, all that matters is that you understand what you understand now, that you are where you are. It doesn't matter that this whole walk-in thing doesn't matter in that sense. A lot of these things don't matter. It almost doesn't matter what happened 10,000 years ago, right? It only matters as it applies to you now. Okay, it only matters in how it helps you put the pieces together to wake yourself up or to remember things.
Again, I don't want to cut anybody up here that I know, but I know so much of this stuff.
Well,
I know so much of what he's saying. I know so much of all of it.
Well, that's all you need to know, and whether you were born with that or whether you walked in with it doesn't really actually matter. It only helps. It just helps you put the pieces together for yourself.
That's what I was hoping to do, but I guess it's like I told someone, I don't need to have Allfaaraa or anybody else validate me, but yet I seem to be doing it because I know, Shawn, I know my heart. Nobody else does. I know
exactly.
True. We all know your heart now. We just heard you.
Hey, whether I'm a frickin' walk-in, I could effing care less. What I do want, and what I have not come beyond yet, is still needing, I guess a validation. But ultimately, inwardly, I know. I don't even care if you told me I was screwed and tattooed. I know what I know, and I know a lot. But not all of it. I'm going to go pour that in a glass of wine, and I'll talk to you guys later.
Okay.
I love you. And then listen, I swear, Holy Heavenly Father, I swear I so resonate with what Alf's message is. I don't know why I do, but I do. I did come through that religious, but let me tell you, I never called myself a Christian. Oh, God, I hated that. Do not equate me with what those people...
Great, Sharon. Thank you so much, sweetie.
Okay, bye, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, too, it doesn't even matter if you don't like calling it a walk-in or that concept. So, because a lot of people, I'm sure, just think they woke up some.
There's a new rule on the Alf and Shawn show. If you have more than one glass of wine or one shot of tequila, don't call.
What about weed?
Mick, yeah, no more blue hands.
If Alf
Thanks, ask her. Have you been drinking?
Oh,
yeah, Alf.
No, if Alf asks you, have you been doing drugs? Lie.
Say no. Lie.
No, well, we're kidding. We're half kidding. I don't know.
We are. Who's next?
I don't know who's next.
Here, give me some questions. Walking chat room, something, anybody.
I think Kando's next, but he's been on too often, so I apologize, Kando. I'm skipping you.
Stay on the line, Kando. Who are you going to?
Excel.
Just put on the phone.
Area code 649. Hello? Who is this?
Hello?
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 Who do we have?
Hi, Elusive Essence here. How are you?
Wait, it's who?
Oh, this sounds Scandinavian.
Elusive Essence?
Elusive Essence. I'm in your chat room.
Hi,
Awesome.
how are you?
Yeah, I read some stuff you posted a few weeks ago. Good stuff.
Yeah,
Amazing.
very interesting. I had a very interesting walk-in in 2001.
Right? You want to tell us about it?
I got magnetically ripped out of my body
Okay.
by 3 billion souls.
3 billion.
3 billion spirits ripped me out of my physical body. And it has
Continue
taken
on.
me 2001 until last night to get my soul back 100% in my body, connected to the cosmos.
Okay.
Keep going. Tell us
Until
more.
last night? Wow.
So I'm very aware of many things on many levels.
Right.
So I have been doing world karma outside of my body since 2001, which is just after the 9/11 towers.
Right.
So can you imagine spiritually being ripped out of your body and actually being out of your body and in your body at the same time for that amount of time?
Yes, I can. I had a great experience.
And I know who I am, what I am, and why I'm here at every level of my soul.
Right. So now, when did you come back into this body? Last night? Is that what you just said? Or did I mistake that?
I've been in my body consciously, in
Right.
and out, since 2001, building my light body.
Excellent. Do you
So I have
think,
100% built my light body.
do you think you'd been working
And I
on
have
your
been
life?
here in this earth reality.
Are you reading
cycling
something
for
or are you talking?
88 billion
Wait, are you
years.
reading or are you talking, Elusive?
Billion years. Pardon?
Are you reading or are you talking? I just asked, it almost sounded like you were reading something, a manuscript or something.
No, I'm not reading a manuscript. I'm ad-libbing.
Okay,
Off the cuff.
good. I was questioning. It almost sounded like you
Because
were
I've
reading.
had to live and breathe it and endure it for so long that I am so aware of knowledge, and the things that you're saying is an
Right.
interesting perception of what is taking place because it fits within the information that I have had to endure and understand.
Right. Where are you from?
I am a quantum soul that has been quantum jumping for 7 years at a time for 88 billion years doing soul contracts. I came
What
here
has
to do
happened?
a job in this lifetime. I did not expect to have my soul ripped out piece by piece by piece until the point of 2001. Magnetically, I was stripped of my earth soul of 88 billion years. My cosmos level, which is the highest level of who I am, came into the body and did the work.
Okay, so you're basically describing what is almost a forced walk-in, aren't you?
I am a forced walk-in at every level, and I
Right.
have been forced at every level of all my soul. From the cosmos down, there has been a huge spiritual war in the cosmos and a huge spiritual war on this earth reality, this earth solar system.
That has been going on for...
Since 2001, my whole nervous system was ripped and shred to pieces.
Okay.
So to actually
me ask you a
survive
question.
being out of my body for that amount of time,
But you've been in
and
your
to
body
come
also.
back into my body for ascension is a miracle in itself.
Okay. When you were out of your body, where did your consciousness exist?
My consciousness has been out in trillions of pieces.
Okay.
I'm a
fragmented.
very old soul. I have a lot of knowledge, a lot of information.
You said that
I'm here
you
for
came
the ascension.
out of the
I
body.
came
You
here
came
as
in
an
of your
ascended
body.
master
When you
88
came
billion
in
years
and
ago,
out-
and I got trapped in this earth reality 88 billion years ago. Therefore, my soul has been entrusted for 88 billion Earth years. That's how long this bullshit game has been going on in this reality.
Yeah, it has been going on a long time. Right.
Elusive, do you have a question, or I mean, is there what?
No, I'm just ringing you up to speak to you and say that I'm interested in your interpretation of what's going on.
He asked you a question, Elusive. You're definitely high energy and high consciousness. There's no question about that.
I'm in the body. It's what people don't understand. I'm Gaia. I'm in the body. I'm awake.
I gotcha. Believe me, I gotcha. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What were you before 2001, before all this happened? Tell us about that.
I was still in the body. I was being ripped out. I've been ripped out since 1989. Piece by piece by piece by piece, I was getting ripped. My soul was getting ripped. So it would open up all the timelines of 88 billion years, which all unfroze, all 100% at the time. So everyone has been lost in the time-space continuum of 88 billion years, been reanimated for 88 billion years since 2001 to this time. I've only just got back in the body, and I'm getting ready to ascend.
Right. And when are you going to do that? Your light body's complete. When are you going to ascend? When are you going to leave?
I'm in the process of it.
Okay. So you're not going to, you don't want to stay here any longer? You're finished, you've had it, you're done?
No. I'm here for a mission.
Right, I agree.
I'm here to bring the souls of humanity back into the body to wake up.
Right.
I have been clearing energy since 2001 non-stop.
Right.
Where everyone's been dumping their negative thought process energy on my soul, on my body. And I'm a
we have
human.
been dumping, humanity has dumped a lot on you. If you're speaking to you as Gaia, yes, I mean, I talked about that 2 shows ago, that they've been dumping all their negative energy on you.
They have, and it's been very painful. I was held down physically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally. You name it. The information that is here is only partially correct. I lost part of my soul in JC time, and because I lost that part of my soul, the dark forces in the cosmos took that part of my soul and said that it was my soul and that I was dark. I was never dark.
You sound
angry. I came
angry.
to clean up the 144 million universes mess.
You sound angry.
Pardon?
You sound angry.
If you had your life force sucked off you while you're in a human body for nearly 11 years, would you not be a little bit upset?
Oh, yeah.
I have been trying to get my soul back in the body to help humanity, and humanity has been my obstacle.
That's a great obstacle, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yes, you're here.
Humanity should be here.
Yes, you're here to serve humanity.
Loving each other, and respecting each other, respecting each other's opinions and their journeys. It's not about, oh, don't you know who I am? I'm great because I'm this and I'm that.
Right.
It's not about that. I'm an archangel. I'm Gaia. I'm the cosmic mother. I'm many things, and I'm in a body, and yes, I'm upset.
May I ask you a question?
With humanity. They're
May I
only
ask you a
just getting the
question?
message, and the message that you're giving out, Allfaaraa, is helping them wake up.
I love it, Elusive. But let me ask you an honest question. Lie to me if my answer is correct. Like the last caller, you haven't been drinking any wine or smoking any pot, have you?
I have not been drinking. I have not been smoking. I am here in my body. I'm having a drink of, what would you call it, a energy drink with guarana.
Awesome. Okay, we just wanted to clarify that because...
So yes, I have built my light body, and I'm the genie in the bottle that many have invaded my soul, have invaded my memories against my will, Allfaaraa. You know this. You understand this.
Of course I do, but how did you allow that to happen?
I'm not dark. I'm not dark, but the dark is here, and it is
course
a
it is.
female.
How did you allow that to happen?
Body, and that body is the one that wanted my soul because I know how to function in a human body, because I am refined spirit.
Oh, there's no question. You are definitely that. You are definitely that. Where are you from? What country do you live in? And where's the accent from?
I'm way, way, way away.
I understand. Where is that? Please, tell us. Yeah, I love the laugh.
Why?
The accent,
evil.
Kind of went away once you started talking, but.
You hear that laugh?
Pardon?
The laugh is very sinister. I love it. I hope we have this. We do have this recorded. I want to play back her laugh. That is the all-knowing laugh there, Elusive.
Do you know, Allfaaraa, that I've had all my keys stripped from me? Do you understand that I have done all this work on knowing? That's all, knowing.
I'm feeling it as you're speaking. I am feeling it. I am feeling you. But I feel more energy.
Humanity. I don't want all this nastiness that is here, and that people want to hurt
You came here, you knew this going in. Stop. You knew going in. You came here to overcome and experience evil. You knew this.
Do you know why I came here?
Tell us.
I came here to clean the DNA of the 144 million universes which were scattered throughout the cosmos.
Okay. How's that been going?
DNA, which created the first dark forces. That dark
How's
force
that been going?
DNA
It's a gigantic 3 minutes of every day, is it not?
Pardon?
It's a gigantic battle every moment of every day.
Yes, it is, but the battle is now done. The battle is done in the cosmos, and the battle is done down here. Now the people have to change their mindsets. And the ones that didn't have a heart chakra have been given a heart chakra. I have been rebuilding the DNA of